I fractured my ankle in 6 different places. I tore 4 ligaments. And it's funny because I remember going to see the doctor or surgeon, and he said he's never seen any injury like this. So they were talking about sending me to West Virginia to get surgery. It challenged the mental side of me that I ain't never really got challenged before. I'm gonna be the best I can be this year, and I'm off to a great start so far. But I'm chip on my shoulder. Yeah, I'm back.
You're listening to the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, giving you an in-depth look at Missouri Western athletics with interviews, features, game broadcasts, and more. Here's your host, Tommy Rezaj.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast. We're back in our Hall of Fame room after being live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill earlier this week. Back for some more one-on-one conversations. Of course, fall sports are off and rolling here at Missouri Western, and Missouri Western football, like so many of our teams on campus, going on the road to kick their season off, and that they did a week ago Thursday, coming from behind in dramatic fashion over Northeastern State, 33-31. And a big part of that victory is sitting next to me, senior running back from just down the road in North Kansas City, Brandon Hall. Already Brandon's 4th year on campus, 15 carries for a career-high 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brandon, welcome to you. It's been so much fun for me watching you these last 4 years. I remember Emporia State 2021 was my first game, and you played a huge role in that comeback, getting down 3 touchdowns, and then you and so many others just really turning things up in that second half. Ryan talked to you on the field after that game, but to not only play such a big role in that comeback, but to see both sides really rally and come together and overcome mistakes and do what you didn't do last year. Get off to a 1-0 start. Just how good did it feel to at least get out of there with a victory?
First off, thanks for having me today. It felt really good coming out with a victory. I wouldn't say that there was any doubt that we weren't going to win that game. It was really just all about keeping the guys up, keep them motivated, as being a team leader. That's kind of my role. Yeah, that year in 21 with Emporia, it was kind of the same scenario. They got up on us first half by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
28-7.
Yeah. And, it was kind of different back then because the old staff, they really weren't on our tail as much, with body language, having higher energy. But, Fenwick at half gave us a great speech. We came out, did what we had to do. So,
yeah, I think anyone that knows Coach Fenwick knows that, he's never going to get too rah-rah about it. And we talked to him at halftime on the air, and, he was pretty even keel given the circumstances. And he talked to me about it earlier in the week that, the coaches came together, they presented a plan, and he said that the mood in the locker room amongst you guys was pretty even keel. Just take me inside that locker room last Thursday. Just what was kind of the discussion there?
The discussion that was going on was, offense definitely has to lock in. We had 3 turnovers second quarter, which kind of gave them the momentum to go up 3 touchdowns at half. So, there really wasn't no panic or anything. We just had to keep doing what we're doing, and everything was just going to come back into place.
Yeah. I talked to you at the start of last year briefly at a practice, and you had said that you had put on quite a bit of muscle, that you felt faster. But I'm watching you from way up top, and it seemed to me you went up another notch speed-wise. That's just me watching it. But do you feel faster and stronger coming into your senior year now?
Yeah. Over this last offseason, I put on about 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. I wouldn't say I feel faster just because, as of my freshman year, just because of surgery. But I'm definitely I feel more explosive. Squat went up, hang clean went up. So my hips are definitely way more powerful, getting in and out of breaks, exploding out of the hole. I definitely do feel a difference.
Yeah. Now, 6 games in the career of Brandon Hall where he's rushed for over 100 yards in a single game, including this past week. And kind of wanted to sit you down because I was thinking back to 2022 when we were at Fort Hays State, which is where Western's going this week. Remember, early in the first quarter, you have a big 50-yard score, and you finish with over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then it wasn't what happened that week, but it was the week after. We're at Emporia State. It's a Griffon team sitting at 2-0. Gets off to a weird start that first half. We sit through a 3-hour rain delay, and I remember we're pinned deep on our own end, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, you get a handoff, basically a helmet to the leg, ball comes free, Emporia scores shortly thereafter, 36-12 the loss, what ended up starting a 4-game losing streak and just a wild ride in 2022. But you played a lot in that season, despite an ankle injury. You get some off-season surgery. Just take me through that, what the rest of that 2022 was like and how you were just able to kind of play through some of that stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know. 2022, week 3 against Emporia. Yeah, it's probably about my second or third carry. I got hip drop tackled from the back, and I fractured my ankle in 6 different places. I tore 4 ligaments, and it's funny because I remember going to see the doctor or surgeon, and he said he's never seen any injury like this. So they were talking about sending me to West Virginia to get surgery and stuff like that. But at that time, we were 2-0. We had lost that game. That game that season kind of went downhill from that game.
Sure.
I did play the rest of the season on a broken ankle. A lot of people also don't know that. And also, it was very hard because every time I got tackled, I had to come limping off the field, and it was just, it challenged the mental side of me that I ain't never really got challenged before. That season was definitely, and then I had off-season surgery, and then coming back, it was supposed to be a 10-month recovery, but I was like, I can't be out for 10 months.
Yeah.
So I started playing after month 7. And month 7, that was week 1 last year. So it was still kind of bothering me last year. For those who were watching, y'all kind of see me get hawked for the first time ever. Yeah. I still got all conference.
You did.
I don't know how, but yeah.
Part of a potent backfield last year, over 600 rushing yards for you, getting third-team all-conference, freshman of the year in this league in 2021. Well, at the end of 22, obviously, we talked about the turbulence there, and you were in the portal, which, this day and age, especially when there's a coaching change, that's not uncommon for sure. But you decide to come back, right? Coach St. Louis, still here. Tyler Fenwick comes in. Talk me through that decision. It's December, January, surgery either scheduled or performed at that point. What made you want to come back after all that?
That was very that time span was so crazy. Yeah. So I had surgery, and then I hit the portal. Just because that's normal for a new coaching staff, for other players just to leave. And I was one of the 50. But my high school coach, Leon Douglas, he played with Fenwick, and I was talking to him that whole break, and he was just like, you can trust him. He's a good guy, and we was talking for probably about 2 weeks straight on just what my decision was gonna be coming up for that spring. So I also talked to St. Louis too. He told me to come back because I was the only staff that stayed from the old coaching staff.
Right.
And so I ended up talking to Fenwick. He's not a cool guy. First time meeting him. He explained to me his plan for me with his offense because I'm in the portal. I was getting other offers, but he was explaining his plan to me in the offense, and I liked what it sounded like. Kind of like how they used me with the old offense, but more balanced, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I'm back. You
Yeah.
know? So.
Yeah, in your first year back, this team leads the league in rushing. Who would you say have been maybe some of your biggest supporters during that time in rehab and just getting back to the old Brandon Hall? Who have been some of those biggest mentors and supporters that you've leaned on?
So like I said, at that time I was fighting mental battles too. You know, my dad, my parents, especially my dad, he was on me every day. Just because, like, you know, it's football runs in the family.
Yeah.
So he just wasn't going to let me give up. St. Louis, he was probably on me the most, though, just because I was up here by him. And I remember I had, like, 13 hours of study hall a week just because my grades wasn't that good that last semester. Yeah, St. Louis is definitely – he put in the most work. I'm not saying that other coaches, like, believed in me, like Fenwick and Coach Bell, but I had to earn back their respect and trust. So St. Louis definitely played a big part in that. And my high school coach, too. I talk to him a lot, still to this day. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cast right there. Talking about, you staying by, well, I think the biggest number that jumped out to me last year, of 85 on the active roster last year, 69 of them were on the team in 2022. That means 69 players from the previous staff chose to stay. I mean, what do you think that says about kind of the culture that's been instilled here over the last year or two?
Yeah. So the guy, I'm assuming, or I'm not assuming, but like I know that the guys that stayed, you know, you can ask them. The old culture here wasn't. It was bad. A lot of bickering on the sideline. We were down, pointing fingers. So they stayed because they believed in the change. You know, we had a team meeting whenever Fenwick got here, and he said everything's gonna change, and if you don't like it, go ahead, the door right there. But yeah, you know, the 60 number of guys that stayed, you know, they believed, you know, they were smart for believing, you know, because we're doing good things here. Yeah. So.
Well, I feel like this senior class, you know, you're kind of maybe the last bunch of those guys that, you know, went through the previous staff, went through the change, stayed, and kind of reaped some of the rewards of that change. You know, and obviously the rewards, an 8-win season last year. I know it wasn't quite the end we wanted, but getting to a bowl game and getting that, you know, that recognition of like, wow, you know, Missouri Western is back to being a contender in this MIAA. How do you wear that your senior year, just remembering the disappointment at Missouri Southern of losing a bowl game? How has that kind of resonated, and how has that maybe fueled, especially the returners coming into 2024?
Yeah, you know, coaches and players, you know, they they played they definitely played a huge role at making us better this offseason. On the coaches' side, you know, they've figured out like why not to do things, and when we do them, you know, like what's the audible or check or whatever out of it, or just they know why to do it, and when they don't want to do something, like when not to do it, if that makes sense. And then the players, on the player side of it, definitely a lot of fire from that last season. Because to be honest, we wasn't supposed to lose a single game, and you know, that definitely got us going. Because I remember like every day over workouts in the off season, we talked about just Missouri Southern, UCM, Northwest. Like our strength coach, Coach Fears, he has pictures of all of our L's on his computer, like his home screen. So, and he reminds us too every time we mess up. Lackadaisical, he reminds us, hey, that's what happened at Southern. Get back on track, yeah, and that usually straightens people out pretty quick. So.
What has Zach Fears meant to you, just in terms of not only, you know, sculpting you into a better player, but what kind of friend and mentor has he been to the guys on this team?
Oh yeah, a lot of people look up to him. You know, he's really good at like breaking down the like team chemistry and explaining what that is, and explaining like how to build it up. Like for example, he was telling us like, you know, one of the great ways to have a player-led team is to be vulnerable. confrontation between the guys, and he harped on it, and then tomorrow, or I mean like later that day or the day after, you see guys calling each other out when they mess up, calling each other out for good things too, like good rep, just calling each other out the lackadaisical stuff. He's definitely harped on that a lot. He's also he hired like 5 assistant strength trainers, and that's like the most in the country, and that's definitely helped a lot too. Just always having somebody be there that can help you whenever you're struggling with something. So.
Well, I know that new nutrition station that opened in the summer. I know that there were schools, Division I schools, reaching out and saying, "Wow, we don't have that." So yeah, it's state of the art. I mean, it's cutting edge what Coach Fears and his staff are doing. A couple more things here for Brandon Hall. Well, you're RB1 this year. You got a budding youngster behind you in Jaden Williams, who had some great moments on last week, catching the touchdown and everything. A redshirt freshman in Ricky Dunn, who I know has had a solid spring and fall. Morel Fountain in that room as well. Just kind of knowing what's on you. We lose 2 bruisers in Jared Scott, Seth Cromwell from last year, but with you kind of taking on that leadership role. 10 games left. Just kind of how do you embrace that, and what do you hope to do with this time that remains for you in a Griffon uniform?
So my goals this season is to chase Michael Hill numbers. Yeah. He averaged close to about 200 a game. He played 9 years in the NFL. Definitely. I'm not Superman. Like, so my Jaden, Rel, Ricky. They're definitely just as important. Yeah. Especially if I'm tired or something. I mean, but that's with depth at every position, though. So, coach tells them to be ready. I tell them to be ready because, they never know. Yeah. But, I definitely I've been telling myself I'm going to be the best I can be this year. And I'm off to a great start so far, but I'm chip on my shoulder. I know I got a target on my back just because a lot of these teams that we're playing again this year, they got a lot of returning defenders. Mm-hmm. So I know most of them, and I know they gonna want my head on a plate. So the bar is set high this year. I've been telling myself that the last 8 months. So.
Yeah. Brandon Hall closing in on 2,000 career rushing yards, 1,866 going into this Fort Hays State game. And let's just end it there. You talked about Hays. They got 9 starting defenders back, a lot of experience there. We've kind of had their number. You've never lost to Fort Hays State in your career. We've beat them 5 straight years. But if last week taught us anything, that history of the past, it doesn't really matter, when the ball is kicked off and there's a fresh 15 on the clock. Going in there, night game, we know it's going to be a good environment. But you've had a history of playing well on that field. This team has. I know Coach Fenwick has harped on treating every team the same, faceless opponents, not worrying about the name on the jersey. With that in mind, how do you attack this Saturday?
Just like you said, faceless opponent. I know majority of those guys on that defense just because they signed with me actually, and they're redshirt seniors, true seniors. We're definitely seeing this team as probably one of the better defenses in the conference. So that definitely motivates us. It definitely motivates me, just because I got a goal this season, to like I said, chasing the Michael Hill numbers. I'm 120 yards off 2,000.
Yeah, you said you're about 134 off 2,000 in your career. Yeah, so could be one game, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be one game. But just the Griffons, we ready. This defense, they play fast, they're physical, they rally good. But if we're disciplined and do what we do, we're not gonna bow down to nobody. So.
Well, real quick, you talk about Michael Hill. He was here. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Have you gotten to talk with him, pick his brain a little bit?
Yeah, actually, I've been chatting with him since freshman year.
Oh, nice.
He reached out to me on Instagram, just talking about ball. He invited me to his house a couple times. He has when he lived here, he had like a man cave in his basement.
Nice.
So, Yeah, he was close with me and Jared, but he would always tell me, just run hard, keep doing what I'm doing, head down, keep moving, So yeah.
Well, quite possibly no one better in Division II that played that position than Michael Hill from right here in St. Joseph. So 10 games left in 2024, minimum in this regular season anyway, and the Griffons will keep it going on the road. A big test coming up this Saturday night at Fort Hays State, kickoff at 7, and our pregame starts at 6 on the Varsity Network app and on gogriffons.com/listen. Brandon, it's been a joy watching these last few years. Can't wait to see what we do this year, and best of luck to you, man. Go get them.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. This has been the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast. Be sure to click subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. So long.